Today on Comparison, we analyze Mexico and Nigeria's critical elections. By 1997, a revolution had been boiling beneath Mexican politics, and on June 6 of that year, that movement made itself known. In the Mexican legislative elections, voters sent out a message to long-dominant party PRI that their power was no longer absolute. PRI lost their majority in the Mexican Congress. This paved the way for two minority parties, PAN and PRD, to form a coalition, marking the first time in 70 years that PRI was not in control. The movement gained momentum 2 years later in the 1999 presidential elections. PAN candidate Vicente Fox defeated PRI candidate Francisco Labastida by an 11% margin. PRI president Ernesto Zedillo conceded the presidency to Fox, effectively putting a nail in the coffin of PRI's reign over Mexico. When Fox assumed the presidency, a more federalist approach to government was taken. The president was no longer in complete control as he was under PRI, but rather one of the three branches that worked together to make the government function. Subnational governments regained some autonomy as well. At the same time that change was winning over Mexico, democracy was working its way into Nigeria as well. In 1993, General Sani Abacha ascended to power by appointment from the previous military dictator. A notorious tyrant, Abacha surprised the Nigerian people by announcing free elections in 1998. But when he convinced all five branches of the military to endorse him as the sole candidate, it became clear that rule by the people wouldn't be coming to Nigeria anytime soon. That changed on June 6 that year, when Abacha died of a heart attack in the company of 6 Indian prostitutes. Although foul play is suspected, the Nigerian military maintains that cardiac arrest did Abacha in. With Abacha's death came General Abu Bakar, who actually implemented free elections in 1999. Winning with 62.6% of the vote, PDP candidate Olusegun Obasanjo would become the centerpiece of the Fourth Republic, setting up a presidential system similar to Mexico's and the United States. Both presidential elections of 1999 saw a major shift in governmental model, from a monocratic system with executive control to a presidential model with the separation of powers. Although the shift was more dramatic in Nigeria, which moved from a military regime to a democracy, voter turnout was somewhat similar in both nations. Mexico's general election saw 63 to 64% at the polls, whereas Nigeria's voter turnout was 52.3% of its population. In most cases, critical elections are signified by a major change in governmental model, unlike the revolutionary elections in United States politics that merely demonstrate a major change in government. Typically in critical election cases, the government overthrown is long-standing and often out of touch with the populace, as was the case in Mexico, Nigeria, and even the Soviet Union. The longevity of the system implemented is usually not considered. For comparison, this has been David Feltz, signing off.